We are. It's okay. You don't have to say anything. But the problem is you see, this is what people think of. Well, that's pimps, right? That's the pimp culture. Fancy clothes, big chains, fancy cars. But on the other side here, that's actual, real convicted pimps. They can be anybody. It can look like anybody. It doesn't have to be glamorized in that way. Okay, so for all my kids in the back, y'all got your cell phones. How many of you know of these apps up here? Facebook. Okay, I need to see the hands. Facebook. Parents have to, and we know Facebook. Instagram. Okay. Let's see. Snapchat. Okay, wow, I think that by far won. Okay. Kids in the back. You guys know about these apps up here? I can't hear you. What'd you say? Some of them? Yeah. So what's scary is that a lot of these apps are on the phones of our kids. And what we don't realize is it's easy access by anyone who wants to get into their life. A lot of the trafficking and exploitation starts online with these apps. So I always want to challenge parents. Know what your kids are doing online. Because you think it might be safe, but it's not. And kids, what you guys posting online? Do you tag your friends? Do you tag where you've been? You put a lot of information about your beautiful self out there. And so somebody who wants to get information about you, it's so easy. It's so easy. We forget, we get this false sense of comfort, like, oh yeah, it's just my friends who can see it. It's so easy to get that information. And all it takes is someone stepping in and saying the right thing at the right time and you're very vulnerable. So why has the demand increased for kids? Well, it's easy. There's websites that exist that actually advertise our kids. This isn't the menu to pull it up, but if I pulled up Backpage.com and showed you the scrolls of ads of kids. Of course, it's not advertised that she's a child, but they have code words and things that show that this is a child. And with a click of a button, children can be bought and sold. Very serious, very, very serious, that we need to be awakened to. Why do we have this problem? Pornography is a touchy subject, but it's real. It's real in the church, and it's real outside the church. They did a big study that looked at people who bought kids and women. 95% of it was rooted in pornography. We have to change that. What are we guarding our thoughts and our minds and our eyes? And that goes for young boys in here too, and girls. The statistics are staggering. But this feeds exploitation and abuse of people and of children. Did anyone see this case on the news a couple months ago? Sad, really sad. This is one of many examples where it is, could be anybody, could be anybody. There's websites, the University of Hawaii, there's a professor who has an alleged situation going on. So who's targeted? Is it just the kids, who live in Waikiki and Honolulu? No. It's any kid in any location. It's not just one area of the island on Oahu or on the Big Island or on Hawaii or Maui. Anyone is is at risk. Youth that are searching for love or acceptance. Youth with a history of physical, emotional, sexual abuse in the home. Being a runaway. How many runaways do we have here in Hawaii? Anybody know? Who said a lot? Thank you. Yes, a lot for how big our population is. I mean, the Attorney General's Missing Children's Office estimates 100 to 200 children run away every single month in our state. Does that mean all are going to get trafficked? No. But what happens when you're out there on the run? You got to survive. And somebody's looking to offer you something that looks a lot better than being on the run. So some of our local statistics, I'd say about any given time, there's about 2,700 kids that are at risk. Doesn't mean 2,700 kids are being exploited, but 2,700 kids are at risk. And you can see the numbers here. 50% of the 229 girls who were arrested for running away in 2009 were made in Hawaii. In Hawaii, there was reportedly 1,300 adolescents in foster care in 2012. 611 females being confirmed victims of abuse. The numbers are staggering. So what happens? You think it's just something isolated to Oahu? It's everywhere. We have a team that works on the Big Island. We're working in the Hilo and Kona side. We have a program for a mentoring program that's up and running. We work with a high-risk girls' home in Mountain View. And what's amazing, what our teams are reporting over on the Big Island, it's what has been done in the darkness is being brought into the light. And it is pretty amazing. And we have pimps that actually go from here to the other islands, recruit girls, and then try to bring them back here or take them to the mainland. One of the difficult things that we face here in Hawaii is we don't have a lot of services for these kids. And this is partially why we've got so involved around this issue in creating programs that serve these kids. I've heard it said before, well, these kids, these women, they're just prostitutes. There's no such thing as a child prostitute. Children can't choose this lifestyle. It's very difficult for them to get out without help. So this is, Pola Nakua was founded on the belief of shining light in the darkness and watching new life before it. Our name means new life for our children. And that's what we are passionate about, is creating a safe place and safe programs for kids who've been trafficked and exploited and their families. We've learned so quickly that, you not only have the child, you have the person who's victimized, but there's a family. And as we know in Hawaii, family can be a lot of different people that make up that ohana. And healing for family is huge. Because if we ever want to stop the cycle of violence and we want kids to be reintegrated and restored back into a family that's safe, we have to have healing happen in the family. It's not just rescuing the kids off the street. Yes, that's important. But it's a lifelong healing process. Lifelong. We have 4 main program areas: health, education, advocacy, and reintegration. The 4 of those pillars spell the word here. And I've been truly passionate about the fact that if we don't hear, if we don't stop and listen, we're going to miss how to help. These kids, families, are telling us how to help them, but we're not listening. So our programs, and these are some of the miraculous things that have happened around our work. So under our health pillar, health isn't just not coming to Polimomi ER and having pneumonia. That's not health. Health is body, mind, spirit, and emotion. And so bringing healing to somebody who's gone through such significant It's everything. It's all of those pieces need healing. So, an amazing story. We've worked very hard. Sadly, in Hawaii, there are no residential treatment programs for kids who've been trafficked. Can you believe that? Do you know what we do with these kids now? Anybody want to guess? We lock them up. Put them in DH. Put them at HYCF. We send them to programs on the mainland because we don't have any residential treatment programs for kids here specific to who have been trafficked. In 2014, there was a piece of property that became available on the North Shore. It was owned by the state, had a 20,000 square foot facility on it. We went before the state landlord. We had to get a whole bunch of letters of support. There was three competing entities for this site. We went before the landlord. We had $50,000 in the bank. That's it. And a whole lot of passionate volunteers. During that time, during that hearing, we had to present, we had unanimous support by the landlord that we should have this property at $480 a year for a minimum of 30 years as a comprehensive campus for this population of children. That's a miracle. We all know how much things cost around here. It's a miracle. So we've been working with a bunch of different architect and engineering firms to get together and put all of our plans in place to renovate because the facility's been totally destroyed, and we're going to show a picture and some media around what we're doing at Pearl Haven. So we call it Pearl Haven, and the reason we call it Pearl Haven, do you guys know how pearls are formed? We view these girls as precious pearls. And in order for them to shine, they need a safe place to find who they are and realize what they've gone through and walk on a journey with them towards healing. So at the same time, while we're building out Pearl Haven, we started a mentoring program called the Starfish Mentoring Program. So we work with girls who've been identified as victims of trafficking or high risk for being trafficked. And we have mentors. We've taken through a ton of training. And we assign them a child as we get referrals. And they're not the counselor, they're not the therapist, they're just the friend, the trusted adult who these kids can talk to. And so it's been amazing the amount of kids we've been able to work with through the mentoring program. And we're also working every week in detention home and Hawaii Youth Corrections Facility in order to bring group activities focusing on empowerment and helping kids find their identity. So it's been amazing. We're reaching about 25 to 30 kids a week with these programs. We have a huge in-school education program that we mentioned earlier. Prevention, we don't want anyone to go through this, right? So there is the element of prevention that's needed. So we use volunteers, we train up volunteers and teach them how to be education advocates and go into any school we're invited to. We train the counselors, we train the principals. Why? Because we're seeing the signs of this. This is not a new problem. It's been going on for years. But we're now calling it what it is and realizing that kids need someone to intervene or they will end up in a place of destruction with innocence being stolen. And I'm not okay with that. I am not okay with that. A huge blessing that we had in the area of advocacy, so one of our biggest barriers is awareness, right? Do we all know the TV show Hawaii Five-0? Yes. We went to Hawaii Five-0 at the end of the year, the end of last year. We said, hey, we need to do some public service announcements. Can your cast, your stars do this for us? They came back with a proposal not only to do public service announcements, but they did a whole episode on the issue of trafficking. 10 million people saw the message. CBS has never done this before, and they showed one of the public service announcements on national television, talking about the work being done here in Hawaii. Amazing, amazing. So this is Pearl Haven. This is our campus. It's amazing. It's so peaceful. However, it's at vacant for 5 years. Lots of destruction. Ripped holes, it's totally destroyed on the inside. So we're in the process of getting it ready to renovate the inside of it and make it this amazing place that feels like home, but yet has all the therapeutic elements that's needed to start that healing process. It's not the only thing that these kids need. They need all of us gathering around them. They need the church ready for the response. Because they can't stay here forever. They have to reintegrate back into the community, which means they need supporters. They need their family who's going to come around them and understand what they've gone through. You can't reintegrate kids. So one of the problems we have when the kids are sent to the mainland and then they come back, what do you think happens? It's disjointed. And then we don't have a community that knows what they've gone through. So how do we know where to step in and try to help and continue that healing process? Our kids should not have to be sent away. The crime was committed against them. Why don't we have this as an option for kids here? We're changing that. We're changing that. Because our kids deserve better. At full capacity, this place could have someday 32 girls. 32 girls. That means girls from Oahu, girls from Big Island, girls from Maui, Kauai, girls from anywhere. So I am going to invite up one of my dear friends, our community manager and our relations coordinator, and she does everything you can imagine. But Tammy's going to bless us with her story and why she does this work. So I'll be back.
Thank you, Jess. That was amazing and very educational. I'm hoping that, ooh, am I booming or what? Is that okay? What do I do? They say put it on your chin. Okay, so yeah, my name is Tammy Vitanga. I am the Community Outreach Manager for Ho'olauipua. I started out with doing bookkeeping, because that's what I do. I'm a bookkeeper for a law office. That's my day job. But, you know, when the nonprofit grows, you have to put a lot more time into just maybe the 4 hours that I was giving a month to balance the checkbook. So I moved on and now I do community outreach. So what I do is I go in the community and I get us gigs. Kind of sort of like this, you know, we come in, we talk, we educate, we might do a fundraiser, we might do a parade. We do 2 big fundraisers a year, a gala and a golf tournament, so I get to help coordinate that. And I started doing this work, and it was amazing because I used to do women's retreats at my church. I come out of Legacy Christian Church. If you are familiar with the Windward side, it used to be Hope Chapel Olamana. Now Pastor Pio pastors our church. And I would do women's retreats, so when they said, oh, we need somebody to do the gala, I'm like, how hard can it be, right? Like, just organize some tables, raise some money. It's not that hard. Oh boy. They, you know those Howley girls that come from the mainland, it's like a little bit more than a retreat. So the expectation was much, and but I was able to gather volunteers, coordinate some things. We have a wonderful team. We're able to get out there in the community and have a good time, but raise awareness and raise monies that are needed, because we do need money to open Pearl Haven, to do the renovations, and to continue the work that we do on a daily basis. Let me see, I'm gonna follow notes because, you know, I am a local girl, and I just talk. But okay, so I just want to say thank you, first of all, to Pastor Jeff and his beautiful wife for allowing us to come here and share about the Olanapua. I'm honored to serve with Jessica. You know, she talks about, oh, she's just that healthy girl from the mainland, but you know what? We have a familiar spirit, ja? When you are in the Lord and your sister's in the Lord, your spirits are familiar. So I can look at her and I can be like, oh my gosh, you know, like, okay, did you get that from the Lord? I got that from the Lord. And so we can do the work that we do. It's very difficult at times. I am going to, let me see. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a story about a girl that was trafficked in Hawaii. I'm also a mother and a wife. I kind of want to get that around, like, why am I doing what I do? Like, I'm just an ordinary person like all the rest of you. Yeah, I'm just a local girl raised in Kailua. Anyway, I'm going to tell you a story about a girl. So, and I'm not supposed to say but I've been saying it. Anyhow, so this particular child that I'm going to talk to you about, she was abandoned by her mother at 3 months. She suffered sexual exploitation by a family member from 4 years old to 13 years old. She was then placed in foster care because back then they called it incest. I'm not sure what they call it today, but it's still incest. If somebody in your family is abusing you sexually, that's incest. And we shouldn't be tolerating that, and we should be giving them a safe place to live. So what they did back then is they took you out and put you in foster care. So without services though, in addressing that sexual abuse, that child can keep on being promiscuous, looking for love in all the wrong places, that sort of thing. Running away, getting under pimp control, having drugs, alcohol, teen pregnancy, that all happens when we don't address the sexual abuse. Or I shouldn't say it happens, it can happen. So my point is that, you know, you have to address those things, right? Early on, don't wait until, you know, you're 30 years old. There I go again. She had 3 TROs by the time she was 30. And the 3 TROs were not against her, they were against people that she was involved with, meaning that she continued to get into abusive relationships. There was a very distorted thing about what is love, yeah? So hitting, control, that kind of thing was normal. But at the same time, as it escalates and the abuse is worse and worse, then the TRO comes into place because eventually she realizes, I have to protect myself. So I'm telling you all of that because I'm that girl. So today I can stand before you and I can talk about that kind of thing. So for me, what happened was I was in foster care and I met a girl that was being prostituted in Waikiki, and she made it seem so glamorous. And for me, it was like, oh, I'm doing this anyway. I did this for free. Why not get paid for it? But I was 15 years old, and I was coerced into that lifestyle. So Jessica already talked about it earlier, that it doesn't mean that you go off island. But for me, I did get off island. I was on the run for 5 months off island, and then I came back on island, and I stayed on the run another 4 months. So altogether, I was on the run for 9 months. And nobody really knew, you know, what I was doing out there. And when I got back into foster care, nobody really asked me what I was doing out there. You know, it was just, oh, put her in another foster home, make sure she goes to school. And so that's what happened for me. And as I got older, and like I said, I had, you know, a lot of TROs and just a lot of turmoil. There was a lot of drug abuse, there was a lot of alcoholism, and it was a very crazy life, like just spinning, 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 all the time spinning. But one day, my girlfriend told me, you know, you should go to church with me. And I was thinking, yeah, right. All those happy people, all you happy people, like they have no idea what my life is like. I was in my 30s by then, but I went to church, and you know, those happy people, they loved me, they cared about me, they wanted to know, like, why I was so broken, what was going on, and not that they dug deep, they never really care about, you know, like, the activities that took place for me to be broken, but they wanted to know why, you know, why are you so broken, why are you so hurt, who abused you, who hurt you, you know, and, you know, little by little, you go to women's retreats, you go to conference, you go to some powerhouse prayer warriors like Virginia Domlagon, and she just calls it out, and you're like, okay, I'm healed, thank you. You know, and you just keep on doing the work, right? It's layer, onion, right? Like layer, little by little. You know, and a lot of forgiveness for self. Yeah, because I've done some really dirty things. I've done some really bad things. I've done some very unforgivable things in the human mind. Right? Plenty of people probably still don't forgive me for some of the things that I've done against them. But you know, Jesus, he forgave everything. Everything. Like from the east to the west and as far deep, right? So when I started to like realize like, okay, I can be new, I can be different, I can change, I don't have to cop out on, oh, because family member sexually abused me, or because I'm dirty already. That was my biggest thing, was I'm dirty already. Why do I need to be clean? What is clean? Jesus washed me and he made me clean, and I'm so grateful today for that. We have to talk about those things with our kids, yeah? When kids make a mistake or when somebody violates them, we gotta be all powery with the shame. It's not shame. It's not shame what happened to them. It's shame what the person did to them. It's shame on that person. But it's not shame for our children. We have to get out from under that, like, oh, shame what you did, or shame, no, it's not. Talk about it. Get healing. Come before the Lord. Lay it down. Forgive the one that hurt you. I'm like 50 something, okay? 50 something. So probably my generation, we never talk about it, yeah, when we had sexual abuse. And you know how much drug addicts get and alcoholics get today? Because that's how they deal with it. Or they're still perpetrating the crimes of sex abuse on children because they never get healing. So we gotta talk about it, yeah. Wait, I don't have glasses here because I gotta read this. So my scripture that I really lean on to is, as for me, how good it is to be near God. I have made the sovereign Lord my shelter, and I will tell everyone about the wonderful things he's done for me. You know, doing this work is not easy. Coming up here and sharing a testimony is not easy. But I do it because I want you to know there is healing and there is restoration and there is life after abuse for all of us. You know, I have many survivor sisters that I talk with regularly, and we struggle with certain stuff, but not to say that, oh, just because we have trafficking in our history that we struggle. Everybody struggle, right? It's just a different kind of struggle. So, thinking, what else am I gonna talk about? I think I talked about basically what I wanted to share. I got married. Oh yeah, I told you guys that, yeah. So I was single after I gave my life to the Lord. I walked single for 8 years, just really purifying and just really peeling off the lies that the enemy kept on telling me over and over. And then I thought I'm never going to get married, right? I'm never going to get married because who wants to marry a dirty girl? You know, I never thought that I would ever get married, and I had that curse on my own self, right? You say things like that, those vows. But you know, God knew better, and I had good mentors that brought me out and said, no, you know, maybe someday God's gonna give you a helper. Maybe you're gonna be a helper. And so, you know, those prayers started, and the Lord totally gave me a good, godly husband. Of course, we get struggles because I'm a teta. He's kind of a moke, and we like scrap sometimes, but we just scrap in the Lord. The Lord is our referee, and you know, it's hard sometimes. Like 5 years into my marriage, we like got physical a little bit, and so, oh my gosh, what? I go get 1 TRO. Oh no, I cannot. I'm married. I mean, if I could have probably because I had means, but you know, it's like no, you gotta work it out, yeah. You gotta work it out. Work out. The Bible tells us to work out our salvation, yeah. That means in your marriage too, right? So we have hope, right? Jesus is the one who's gonna take us from glory to glory and faith to faith. So we do that, right? Even whatever your past is. So I'm very thankful and grateful that Jessica trusts me to do some of the big deal things with Ho'olanapua. You know, we have a big mission ahead of us, and we really need the church's help. You know, you folks are the one who knows the power of Jesus and the power of healing and the power of prayer and the power of forgiveness. You know, I eventually forgave my perpetrator. He actually died in Halawa prison. And I was with him in the infirmary because he was very sick. He was 89 years old and he was very, very sick. But, you know, the guards allowed me and my sister to go in to the infirmary, and you gotta go through some stuff to get to the infirmary. And, you know, prayed for him, and about 2 years prior to his death, I actually led him to the Lord because he was like, why are you here? Why are you this? How can you? And I'm like, well, if Jesus can forgive me, then I gotta forgive you. The Bible tells me if I don't forgive, then how am I to be able to speak about it, right? So, you know, that journey was amazing too, because I used to curse and say, oh, I hope you die a miserable death alone. I had to ask the Lord to forgive me for that curse, yeah? But when I was able to go back in, and that was freeing for me. You know, forgiveness is not only, is not for the other person, right? It's for you. Yeah, so I would encourage, and I would charge you with, if you're holding on to unforgiveness, if you have sex abuse in your past, even if you're 100 years old, and you're still carrying that burden, take it to your mentor, take it to your pastor, take it to somebody who can pray you out of that, and lay it down on the altar and forgive, because God has so much more for you. Your heart can contain, you know, cannot contain black and I don't know, like black and good, like whatever, dark and light, cannot, yeah? It's all good, right? So I would encourage you to get rid of that. And I really think that's it, yeah? But thank you for allowing me to share, and be encouraged and help us. And here's Jessica.
Thank you, Tammy. It takes a lot of strength to get up and be so honest and transparent with what you've gone through, right? I want to give opportunity for Candace, who's one of our other core founding volunteers, just to share why she's here. You know, again, it's an amazing story of just being obedient to what God's called you to do. So, welcome, Candace.
Okay, everybody, stand up for me and shake a little bit. Stand up, kids. Come on, now's your chance. It's been long, right? Stretch a little bit, and then when you're ready, have a seat. So how does this affect you guys? What does it matter to you? What are you gonna do? That's the question. So when I heard about this, I was living in a very small mountain town, thinking there was, you know, this happened somewhere far away. I actually grew up with Jessica. So we lived in this tiny little town in California, and we had tons of snow. It's good to go visit. Anyways. So I heard about this and I was, okay, I have to do something, right? I was probably in my early 20s. So I started volunteering with this group over there that was doing something. And it wasn't a lot, I was just helping them. Then Jessica calls me and she says, let me back up. I had been traveling for 4 months. I was broke because I'd been traveling, serving the Lord. I didn't have a car or a job at that point. I called her up, I talked to her, and she said, you know what? This could all be for a reason. She said, we're working on getting something started in Hawaii. And I know you've been volunteering. I know you've been training in this. Consider coming over. And I thought, oh my gosh, how would I even do that? I have no money. I have, nowhere to go. Her house was full. She's like, oh, maybe you could live in your car. No, she didn't say that. But I didn't know how that would happen. So I just committed it to the Lord and I started praying. And finally I decided, you know what? I'm going to take the little funds that I do have and I bought a one-way plane ticket. And I started shipping my clothes over. Then someone connected with me and said, we heard you're coming over, we'd like to donate our car to you. And that was my confirmation. I'm supposed to come. Then someone contacted me and said, I'd like to give you a place to stay for a couple months free of charge. Once I came, I found a job within a week and a half because I had to work to support myself, right? I still do. So all that being said, I started the ministry and amazing things have come out of it. And so for all of you, there's a lot of kids in this church and you guys are empowering them up here. They are empowered to do something. And I really encourage, even you kids, you can do a car wash. You can have a barbecue. You can do something to raise funds for Ho'olanapua. You can talk to your neighbor about this. If you know someone going through this, say something, do something, help them. They may not know they're going through it. Tammy didn't know until way later. But say something, do something. What if you don't? It's hard, I know. But do something. And so my something was to move out here and help, and it has been an incredible journey. Since then, I have a very local husband who I'm very much in love with, and a little girl, and she's 1 year old. So the Lord blessed me that way as well. And I encourage you, single people, wait for a good one because it's so worth it. And do something. Get out there, talk, do something. All right, thank you.
All right, so we're going to close this up here. It has been an issue that we haven't wanted to talk about in the church, but it's time to jump in out of the boat, out of the safe zone, out of what we consider politically correct. It's time to put all of that aside because we can't allow one more child to be victimized on our watch. We are the watchmen God has put here in these islands to protect and move children out of harm's way. We've been charged. Seeking justice, being in justice work, isn't a career. It's not something you have to have a degree in. It's just being faithful to what God's put in front of you, knowing what's been wrong needs to be made right. And we need more and more people speaking out and talking about this. Think about Daniel, Esther, Joseph. God raised them up. He gave them secular jobs. And what did he use? He used them to change history. There's a verse, Psalms 57:2, that says, he will perform the cause that I hold in my hand. He's called us to step into people's pain, to be real, because that's all people are looking for, is for people to be real with them and to care about them. 2 Corinthians 10:4 says, you're waging a war, not with the weapons of this world, but with heavenly weapons, would have divine power to demolish the strongholds. Everybody's looking around. We look up like chaos. Think of the hurricanes and the fires on the West Coast. Everything going on. The answer is sitting right here. You're the answer. You're the tapestry that God's put in place to be the safety net for these kids and for our community. We've been driven by massive volunteers. Okay, I still do 100% pro bono as the CEO CEO and president, and work my day job. We've engaged people, but it's about moving children out of harm's way. But there's a spiritual battle to this. I have never experienced spiritual warfare as intense as I have in the last 6 months. Satan does not want these kids to be free. He wants us to be blind. He wants the scales to remain so kids can not be free and not be free to run and play. Matthew 9:37 says the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. But you know what? That's changing because God's raising up an army of men and women to fight back. There's a quote by C.S. Lewis that says, "There's no neutral ground in the universe. Every square inch, every split second is claimed by God, but it's counterclaimed by Satan." We have to stand in the gap. We have to be the voice for kids whose voices have been silenced, because this is no more. I'm going to show you a brief clip of Pearl Haven and some beautiful, amazing, courageous survivors speaking out about why this is needed. Just to give you a taste of what Pearl Haven is, since it's all the way up on the North Shore, but I want you to have the opportunity to see it. So, thank you. I'm so honored to be here. And we look forward to more Talk Story. Over there in the corner, we have t-shirts and some bracelets and stuff that we love to share with you guys. So, please join us for more information over there as well. But I'm going to show this brief video clip, if that's okay.
When I walked onto this property, the reality hit me that human trafficking occurs in the most beautiful places on this earth. Even in Hawaii, even in paradise, it happens.
Everything around me became broken. There were not places for girls like me.
What if I had had a different choice? What if I had a different option? What if somebody told me I'm better than being sold? What if somebody told me that my value wasn't based on being sexually abused when I was 4? What if somebody told me that when I was 15, when I got recovered from that trafficker?
The reasons I wanted to be successful and the reasons I wanted to complete school, law school, passing the bar exam, it was all because of those early seeds that were planted when I was in my worst place, when I was locked up in juvenile hall, when I was thrown away, when I was trafficked and nobody knew it and nobody talked about it that way, when I was labeled, when I was shamed. I met those few good people who did plant seeds.
If this home would have been there for me during such a horrific time in my life, it would have given me the peace and the serenity I would have needed to heal. It would have saved my life.
If I had been given the option to come to a place like Ho'olanapua and get therapy, probably had a different outcome of my life. I struggled for 20-something years. It takes a special type of therapy.
It takes a collaborative effort for restoration to take place. And if each person is lending a hand to get in this building together, that will have an impact on every life.
Girls that are sex trafficked, their lives matter, and they need the proper services and the care specifically for them.
Give them a place of healing and give them a place of support in a way that prepares them for all the success and all the future that they can have.
That is our goal, to open the home so that girls too have an option, that they can have a place to go to get healed. And that is my life work. I am 50 years old, and I think the first 50 was really hard. But I think the next 50 is gonna be so fabulous. And even if we save one girl.
This home, they're allowing people to heal naturally and allow them the time that they need. It's very important to have people that really understand you, and not only understand you, but understand what you have been through and can walk you through every step.
Every single young person who has been trafficked has a tremendous amount of potential and a tremendous amount of opportunity.
There is hope. For any individual that walk on that property, there is hope.
I want girls in Hawaii to know that they have an option, that there is a place that they can go.
This home needs to be built here in Hawaii.
You know, maybe folks don't realize, she didn't say it, I'll tell you. That's the old Crawford home. You guys know in North Shore, you go around the bend, right after the university agricultural place, turn the bend, it's the Crawford home. It's been abandoned for years. You can see the rubbish that's there, the vandals got and damaged the place and everything. So they're cleaning the place up. But what's more important, they're cleaning up lives. And I thank God for that. You know, just like, come, I want to share instead of me sharing just about architecture. That was outstanding. The firm that told you. But I like that. I really, this is, you know, she talked about miracles. This is one of the biggest miracles that could have happened towards this home.
Thank you. I know there's so many things and I'm always like, okay, pick and choose. So, you know, you saw the building now, right? What it looks like. It's a lot of work inside. Yeah, things are like falling apart, falling down. But Architects Hawaii, they designed the state capitol. Design Partners Inc. is another big engineering firm. They came to us. So we went out asking for bids, right, from 3 different companies. I looked through all the proposals and all were like, you know, $900,000. All of them were very similar. But I get to the end of Architects Hawaii's proposal, and it's beautiful, all the stuff they're gonna do, and I'm thinking, how much is this gonna cost? We get to the end, and Bettina, the CEO, amazing woman, says, total's $915,000, but we're gonna do it 100% pro bono. So your cost is
Gotta be done. Pro bono. It's free. $900,000. Similar to our story where our architect is doing pro bono for our building. He's already done it. Of course, we pay for it. He's working, doing some stuff. If we were to pay him, we'd be broke today. Just the architecture part, you see. But you know, Crawford Home, the old Crawford, is now Pro Haven, so praise God. I like that. But you know, thank you, Tammy and Candice for sharing this story because you know that's a very cool in this place. But I forgot until you mentioned our last name, Tonga. When I first met her and her husband, and he said Tonga. He says, "Oh, so are you related to Rudy?" And Rudy's your father-in-law, right? Now, you might remember we used to play in the basketball league for the Christian team at Palisades. And we went to Waimanalo and played Rudy. Well, we played other places, but that was Rudy's home gym. Rudy and her father-in-law. And Rudy's not huge. He's about a little shorter than me. Slim, fast, good basketball player. Like most Filipino guys, you know. And he was really great. And the only thing, well, not the only, one of the things I remember about these old gyms, you know, plantation gyms. Waimanalo gym. When you go for a layup, the wall is right there. You know, it's the back point. So if you don't go up and stop, you hit the wall. That's how close it was. But we had so much fun, so I was so happy to meet her husband. And I said, oh, and her husband is big compared to his father. He's soft. I mean, my mother-in-law is Samoan. But the mother-in-law is Samoan. That explains everything. But thank God, so, you know, the full cycle, how I knew your father-in-law and he comes to me and you're helping all over the world. And you know, to many of you, this is eye-opening. And as it was shared by just like it's awareness. We need to be aware because someone might say, wow, I'm not picking on anybody, but I know people, they're alarmed to look at this stuff and they say, it's very startling to see this on what's happening in the presentation. Why did Pastor Jeff allow this in front of the children? Because the children know more than you and I find that very eye-opening, that the children know, and she presented on Facebook and all, they know more than you and I, because I know as my computer last year, a lot of pop-ups came up, sexual stuff, pop-ups, free ads, right? That's where Facebook and all these people get paid from these advertisements. And sometimes they don't really need to have those, so they took some of them off. But there's commercial sales of time is what buys their time. But anyway, so I realize it's kind of alarming in a sense, but they're gonna say, well, my 5-year-old watching this pastor, hey, they better know. Well, they don't know, they better know, but they know. You guys give them phones. And remember years ago, before Facebook came into being, I'm not taking credit for this, I'm just saying, before you folks stay away from certain social media, before all these things, Twitter and all these things came out, Facebook was the first one. I said, be careful, don't put your pictures of your daughter in your child. You know, this is not only for girls, this is for boys too. They get pimped. Now pimping these guys, pimp is the guy that sells the body of a person. Okay? In other words, child or adult. So I told you as in law enforcement previously that you exposing your children, and it's nice. Oh, happy birthday, my child. They said, oh, pictures, nice pictures, everything. And my child goes to certain preschool or school. Remember I told you those things? And the guy's gonna hack in and get, oh, you pick them up at 3 o'clock. You put the whole story, so they know. So when they go to the preschool or the school, they say, hi, my name is Uncle Bob. Your mom cannot make it today. I'm going to pick you up, take you home. You get abducted. This has happened many times over. We don't hear all of it, many times. So be careful. You guys think it's fun. You know, before when I was young, we had pen pals. We used to write stories to people and that kind of stuff. But even then, I had a hard time writing letters. And you know, most of us don't write letters as some people they write all the time. But now we have email, we have social media, which is, in fact, you guys know, I do more texting than talking now on the phone. Right? I mean, I don't even talk to you guys, text you. I get it to be like you young people. Technology now, no. The thing is, we don't converse and we text, but be aware that in that social media, you get too much information. And that's why we have a lot of people are in trouble credit-wise because we put stuff on there and you know, and get involved in the wrong people, they hack you. Well, I just said to my friends and family, these hackers get in there. And then you get friends, but I get so many requests to be confirming friends on Facebook. I don't even know who these people are. I came from somebody, my family member. You understand what I'm saying? I get hundreds. I try not to get on Facebook too much. But the thing is, you gotta really be aware. Awareness is important. You know, we kind of naive and we act innocent as to all things that happen. We're not informed. Thank God for people like this who are committed to serving God, first of all, also serving us, the community. You know, children, you listen. I'm glad you were listening. You didn't fidget. I didn't hear any sound from you. You have to be aware that you need to talk to your parents. If the parents not listening, talk to your pastor, talk to your counselor, talk to your school administrator, your teacher, somebody who will listen. If something is going on, somebody is approaching you, or you're involved in something that you shouldn't be, you know it's bad, you tell them. Tell an adult. Or even the police. You can call the police, call 911, say, I need help. Talk to them. Because you know what? If you don't say anything, people don't know what's happening. Like Tammy shared. She was gone 9 months. They didn't even ask her when she came back what you were doing. She just says, settle back to school. They're not even caring. But we should be caring because we're the church. So, parents, You need to speak to your children. But most of all, you need to listen. You need to listen and hear what they're saying. Some of you don't even know who their friends are. Some of you don't know even what their activities are. And we need to check on them. Don't believe the lie that they're going to say, "Are you very strict?" We have to be strict because the world is not strict. My father was strict. Thank God for that. If not, I don't know where I'd be today. Well, I know where I'd be today. Which is like my friends that are in prison. But because my mother was strict, the two of us became cops. One became a school teacher. And I give her credit because I didn't like it sometimes. But she meant well. Sent us to church, made sure we were well grounded. And that's what we parents need to do, grandparents. We need to be strict on our children. Don't worry about what they say. You're the boss. You're the one that experience. You have life experience to share. Talk story. Don't be mean, just talk story. Ask them what's happening in their life. You look straight in their eyes and talk to them, bring it up. You know, they talk about being Tammy and they share. Most of the stories are they feel lonely, they feel abandoned. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. But the Lord cares. So we need to teach them that. Okay? So get involved with your children. Find out about what they're doing. You know the song I remember as you were sharing. The song that I thought of was looking for love in all the wrong places. Every one of us are created to be loved and to love others. Right? But when we don't have a way to love others or others don't love us, we lost. And we need to realize love is very important in our lives. So extend love, but also receive love. So I pray that we have learned from this, and today when we take an offering, please give a little more to help them. And I'm going to bring this to the board at the end of the year when we do our budget to help support this endeavor. Because I like what's happening. Every time I pass Crawford home, I say, wow, that thing is just going to pieces now. Praise God. It's being built, rebuilt, and for the Lord's work. So thank you for sharing, you guys. But before we go any further, this is what I want folks to do. I want you three to come up, and I'll want to surround you, and we'll pray for you. Okay, and then we'll turn it around. I want, I'm putting up on you folks, I want an impartation. Jessica will impart on the adults, that we know what to do, we have wisdom from God. I'll give her whatever word she wants to use, but I want an impartation on every one of us adults. And then Tammy and Tammy can come and lead, Candice can help her. The young people, anyone under 18, you come up, and Tammy will pray for whatever God needs on her. I want an impartation. Because no sense we just listen to them and hear all the stories. We need to know in ourselves what we're going to do about it, how we can prevent, right? We need to be informed, but we need to listen to God in our hearts, okay? So why don't you three come up? Board members come, we'll pray for them. You folks out there, just stretch your hands towards them, and we'll pray for them. God will continue to use them in a mighty way. He's a former boy from the University of Israel, so he sees people locked up, and he's also counsels children, so I like Jim to pray for you folks. That's Jim.
Father God, we humbly bow our hearts. Lord, I pray special anointing of the Spirit upon these ladies, Father God, for the mighty words that they have given. Lord, we are standing on your promise, where two or more gathered there in the midst, you shall be. Thank you for your presence in our lives. Lord, I pray that as they walk your walk, you will lead, guide, and direct them to do the work, the mighty work that you have given them. And we thank you, Father God, that they are open, transparent, and are going following you. Bless their hands in everything that they touch. Bless those lives, Father God, that they come into. Let them be mighty, women of God, doing a mighty work. And Lord, let these children shall be blessed. And the doors will open for the things that are needed for them as we have already started to open. Continue to open those doors. For there are many more doors to open. Many more tasks to be fulfilled. And Lord, I pray that this morning will give them the vision of seeing it come to pass. For we know, we definitely know in our hearts, Father God, that your word shall not be done. And it will accomplish that in which it must in your time. And we pray that it happen in your time. Give all the praise and the glory to you, Jesus.
We pray for the adults. Okay, adults come up. Please, everybody, we need to be united in this. All anybody 18 and over, come on up.
That's you, Joel.
Okay, let's pray. Father God, I just thank you so much for every single parent, grandparent, auntie, uncle that's standing out there. Father God, you've given them a huge task. Raising kids, raising grandchildren, being the watchman for their family. Father God, I just pray right now that you would just cover them with your wisdom. At this day and age of parenting, it's crazy. Lord, give them wisdom beyond their years. Help them to see what's really going on in the lives of their family members. Lord, give them the sensitivity to know what to say and what not to say. May everything be delivered in love and graciousness and kindness. And Father God, I just pray right now that the cycles of abuse and violence that have existed in so many ways, Father God, that those would be broken. That it would start with the revival in this community here on the West Side would start right here with this church and these leaders and these parents and these grandparents. And I thank you, Lord, that they're willing to listen and they're willing for their eyes to be open. And I just pray right now, just for a fresh anointing of the Holy Spirit to just touch them from the top of their head to the bottom of their feet. Just know that they are fully yours, that they are yours, and help me project and everyone to a child that they are blessed to care for. I thank you and praise you for the leadership in this church, that they're willing to bring the issues forward, because this is real life. Thank you, Jesus, for the work that you're doing, and we pray for a huge blessing over their building and what they're trying to accomplish out here. Lord, we want to see this entire West Side find healing and hope in you. And the next generation is key to that happening. Thank you, Jesus.
I'm going to bring the kids up. Where's all the cookies? Come. If you don't come by me, then I'm going to come to you.
I'm coming.
My children.
Where's the putty stick now? Just kidding, just kidding.
My kids, all young ones.
Come.
Oh, whoa. Oh, they're falling over here. They're falling on the ground. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna just pray a blanket prayer over all of you. Unless each of you wants one, it's gonna take us a long time. So I'm just gonna, so if you guys can be still and hold your hands out like this. If you want to receive something from the Lord. Good? Everybody? Good? Okay, Father God, we come before you and we thank you. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Because you're staying all distracted, okay? Close your eyes. Okay, so Father God, we come before you and we thank you, God, for every child here, Lord God. All these children, Father God, we just ask, Father God, that you would heal their hearts, Father God. That you would heal any hurts that they've already received, Father, that you would renew their mind. Renew their mind from the top of their head, Father God. Renew their whole body. From the top of their head to the bottom of their feet, Father. Let them receive every single blessing that you have for them. Let them be healed in Jesus' name. Father, that you would use their hands to heal, that you would use every part of their bodies to heal others, Lord God. That even this little one, Father, we thank you for him, Lord God. We pray that you would protect his mind and keep him safe, Lord God. For every single hand, that you would use their hands to heal, Father God, and bring your fresh anointing, hallelujah. Lord, that you would just keep on bringing renewal to their minds, Father God, that you would heal them, that you would stop anything from social media to enter their minds, Father God. And if it has, Father, we pray that you would just remove it right now in the name of Jesus, and that you would just restore their minds to how you wanted it to be. Father, we pray that you would give them fresh anointing, fresh anointing, healing hands, Father God, for all the broken things in this place, Father, that you would continue to use their hands to heal, Father God. Use their minds, Father God, for what it is originally purposed for. We thank you, Father God, for all that you do. We thank you, Father God, for a renewal of the mind, Father God, and that you would just give them a fresh desire for you, Father God, first. Above all, that everything that they do is all for you, Lord God. We just thank you, Father God. We pray that you would increase their gifts, Father God. Increase this worship team is unbelievable. And I just pray, Father God, that you would increase their desire to serve you in their worship, Father God. So we praise you, we thank you, we give you honor, we give you glory, we give you praise. We thank you for your children, Lord God, the next generation. Let them rise above and do more than we have ever done. Let our roof be their floor, and let them do the amazing things in the world. In Jesus' name, amen.
Okay, thank you very much. Gabby, what a blessing. Hallelujah. Okay, people, let's
Bongo.
I'm going to pray for the offering. Now I pray that you give a good offering
why you was playing for?
our poor. As we do that, we will bless them and continue the great work that they commissioned.
You want to bet?
Right?
You want to bet?
And don't forget,
Don't
afterwards
eat
you
it.
go visit the table and
You want to bet?
purchase some items that they have.
That's what I thought.
Help them out. Let's pray. Father God, we thank you. Thank you for these three beautiful ladies that come forward to present what ministry they have from you. Thank you for Jessica. We thank you for Candace. We thank you for Claire. And Lord, most of all, bless them mightily and their families and use them, continue to provide for them as you, Jehovah Jireh. Lord, we want to give a portion of our finances to them today as we give a love offering to them. We pray. In the holy and precious name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Praise God.
Damn it!
Listen. Okay, I'm gonna see if we can do this. Only because of what you're talking about makes me think of what we need to remember.
Thank you, worship. Beautiful. Very beautiful. Hallelujah. Bless you, folks. So tonight we come back. We're gonna have Cheryl Taylor with Assemblies of God Mission Department. We'll be sharing. It's supposed to be Abby, but I received a call from Pastor Terry Wall from Calvary Assembly. Nice thing about this gal that spoke in his church, so he switched.